Yeah, I remember that. Like, you had a good relationship with Teresa. Not a lot of people knew her like that. Like, a lot of people knew her, but didn't know her. And I remember when you were being bullied and they were like, oh, Misty's not smart. Misty does whatever Teresa says. And I remember I used to wonder, like, why does Misty do that? Why does she always do what they say? Why does she always go to the store? Do you remember hearing some of those things?
Yeah, I was just trying to have friends. I was trying to be friendly.
And that's a sign of like how community drops the ball, like when innocent people just want to be friends. And you mentioned about like egos and personalities. I don't limit myself to community. I help people who are around me. And, predominantly, mostly so far has been like women with my vendors connections. We
Hmm.
secured a couple of new vendors in Africa. So there's a couple of girls that I know who want to start natural hair oil companies. So I
Uh,
have a vendor's plug now in Africa who gives me straight out the ground processed oil. You know, I got friends in Nigeria, girl. You've spoken to a couple of my friends. So I got the plugs now. Not trying to be funny, but I got the plugs on the fake Gucci bag. Like Africa is just like China. So let's say it like that. So my connections is good. For anybody that's like on the bag game, I remember back in the days, Central Avenue used to be so lit. Like everybody had these little shops. You know, it's so different now, but Albany used to be lit. There used to be so many shops, and you can get the fake Louis bags, and they look real. Like, you can't really tell the difference. So I got to connect to that. So dropping the ball really sucks because sometimes you really need your sister, and not necessarily blood sister, but like your trans sister. I really needed the girls when I got blacklisted from going to an organization. They blocked me from going to their organization for like a year, and then I couldn't go to their partner, an entertainment spot, for about a year as well. And it was simply over a statement that I had mentioned about someone's health status. But at the same time, way before I said anything about a status, it's funny how people be like, oh, I was exploited, which is a very strong word. And I was outed, my status of my health was outed. But those people exploited other people and made fun of and bullied and talked about. Um, and so sometimes when people speak, I'd be like, wow, your memory is jogged because like that's not really how it went. It kind of went the other way. And whether they want to accept that or not, I didn't get punched in my face publicly at an event. So obviously you're still a repeat offender, which is what I was told I was. But I mean, I was supposed to go to this event and I was actually headlining, but then I canceled. And the spirits was just like, don't go to that event. Just don't go to that event. So I spoke to my manager and I was like, well, I really want to do like something. I'm working on my one woman show, and I want to do comedy. So I presented that to that individual and it went well. And something just in my soul didn't sit. And later on at that event, a person ends up getting punched in their face. And I'm just like, wow, what if it was another situation, like if I would have showed up, that kind of energy. And what would make that person punch you in the face? What did you do, or what did they do, or what irritated the two of y'all to get to that place? That's why I shy away because I feel like there's too many estrogens, and I don't take moans, girl. I stopped taking moans a long time ago. So I don't have all that estrogen like running through me. So we just got to stop dropping the ball because during that period, I really needed that organization, and they abandoned me and destroyed my character. That organization destroyed my person. That organization destroyed how I felt about community because I wasn't given a fair chance to explain my side of the story. And when I wanted to have a conversation, the organization was like, absolutely not. But they're sending me monthly statements in the mail about their calendar. and considering me a member. So like I need respirations because they got so much coin off my address and my name. I don't care about the white folk restoration. Can I get my restorations from the not for pocket? Because they were sending me monthly statements that whole year, but I was blacklisted. And I kept every calendar and still have them in case I need to go to the courthouse. I can't come to your organization, but you're sending me monthly statements like I'm a member. It was just really weird to me. But I wanted to have a conversation, and I was like, you know what? I really just want to share my piece because I think, as I mentioned before, if you hit below the belt and I hit below the belt, we're both hitting below the belt, and we both should have been suspended or blacklisted for a period of time and then reconvene. But to completely just blacklist someone and say you can't show up and you can't be a part of, and then later on in life when they're like, okay, our numbers are low, we need people, and I don't want to be bothered. Why am I shady? Can you help me understand, sister?
You want me to tell you why you are shady? No, I'm just kidding. Come on, it's about people wanting to be the best and everyone wants to be better than, and we're all supposed to be and created equal to. And it's just that people have harsh judgments about others. It just makes for friction and static.
So we go back in time. And you know, this is going back. This domino effect affected other relationships. I know I'm not really close with my brother, you know, DJ. We're just gonna leave it like that because he felt like I came there to have problems and I didn't. I just didn't understand why someone who I've known for a very long time, who was like my brother, like everybody knows me, knows that individual, and you know who I'm talking about. I made you give him, you know, some food and stuff. He's always been like my brother. Like we had an opportunity back in like 2011, but once I saw him in a space that was a space that I wasn't comfortable with, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like your people's and your space is not a space I want to be in. You know, so I parted ways and he forever was my brother. Point of how we got to me saying stuff in the public. We're at the bar or whatever. Like my brother called me like, yo, I'm DJing, are you coming through? And I was like, oh bro, I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna support you. I'm like, who's there? He's like, so-and-so's there, so-and-so's there, Dee Dee's there. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just want to say hi, see what's going on with the girls. So I show up very friendly and I was like, hey, to one girl, she hugged me. And I went to the agent of change, who's about change. And I said, hey. And she was like, oh. She turned to the side. So I went to the other side. I said, hey. You know, I'm ghetto, girl. So she turned to the side. So I went to the other side. I said, hey. You know, I'm big as hell, girl. You can't miss me. So she was like, get out my face. Said, oh, bitch, I don't see it. And got up and stormed to the balcony area. So I was like, well, being outside would actually be better. It's fresh air. Let me just go outside too. So I went around back outside and I was like, what is going on? What is the tea? And she was like, oh, so my brother, the BITCH is here. The BITCH is here. And I'm just looking at this guy like, wow, my name is name. And that's one of the reasons why I don't use yes, bitch, and all that other stuff. I don't even use that in my vocabulary anymore because I don't like that name, period. So she was like, the BITCH is here. You need to come talk to your BITCH. And I'm just like, okay. So I'm like, what's going on? Why can't you have a conversation with me? And they were like, oh, you in their inbox and I got the messages. And I'm like, okay, what did the messages say? What did it say? Oh, you were talking to him. I said I was, but what did the message say? Basically, I was like, yo, bro, I want you to do something for me and come chill. And she took this out of context and this was going in instead of being like, girl, this is my man. You know, I'm a beautiful girl. What's going on? Carrying yourself like a lady, being classy, letting me know that you don't see it like, oh, you was talking and oh, okay. Just being a lady. She's on 10. So she's like, oh girl, you a bitch and you over pumped and all this other stuff. I said, girl, and you're mad skinny, small. Bye. And I just kind of like walked out. So she comes storming behind me, like, oh, bitch, I will fuck you up. I literally tried to descend, and you come behind me, and you're putting your hands in my face. And I'm just standing there like, okay, wow. Like all this over a misunderstanding with somebody who ain't got no chances. Like, what are you talking about? Girl,
In
you got, huh?
in public.
Like, girl, this is you, it's all you. And you supposed to be like public figure, it's the change and all this and that. And you feel bullied. But girl, you bullied me, had your hands, you had four of your friends trying to come at me, and I'm sitting there by myself, like, and I done, a clock go this way. I done started going this way because in my brain I'm thinking, okay, he's mad big, he's a witch queen. They go, mother, what's gonna happen? Who's going first? Like I done switched to the other side because now I'm in defense mode. Like, okay, it's four of y'all, and I'm by myself. DJ got in his head doing his little DJ thing, and I'm like, okay, so bro is off the land. I'm sitting here by myself. The bar's right here. Four of them. So I'm ticking the clock the other way. Like, okay, so I'm gonna do him, then her, and then him, and I'm gonna just be like this. That's how I'm where I'm at because they just like bullying straight me. So then I was like, okay, you're just running your mouth, girl. You ain't gonna do nothing. And she was like, go do drugs. You drug addict, bitch. So at that point, it wasn't those exact words. They were actually more harsh, but for the channel, we're just gonna do it in this manner. And that
Yeah.
person was like, "Yeah, you on drugs? You drug addict? Go here, go there." So I was like, "My girl, at least I don't have to go to CVS every month." Basically, is where we're gonna leave it like that. And everybody was like, oh my God, you gotta go. Oh, that's it. You can't come here. You gotta go. So I was like, oh no. Like, really? That's gonna make me gotta go. And so I was escorted out. And then I was personally called the very next day by one of the directors at this not-for-profit organization. And the person was like, oh, you had a public display with our community leader, and you will not be able to come to the organization. Didn't even get to share my side of the story, didn't even to share what my experience was. Just completely, we're done. We don't see it for you. You can't come around. So I was just like, okay, so help me understand what I did and said was so much more affecting than what the other person did and said. Because for me, people who may be in that type of situation are thriving, living long lives in front of cameras and bulbs and doing campaigns and just living and being fab. Meanwhile, somebody who has addictive issues, they can get a bag of dope and that's it. So, like, which one is more hurtful, in my opinion? I mean, I feel both situations are hurtful. Talking about someone's health situation and talking about someone's addiction situation is just as equal, disrespectful. So why weren't both parties reprimanded? Why was it just me? Because I don't want to like mold and do certain things. Like I wasn't with the prep. I'm not destroying my liver and kidneys just to prevent me from getting something when I could just use my brain and be like, no, you ain't my type. You know what I'm saying? You ain't my type. And when the last time you went to the doctor? I don't need something every month, every day, when I can use my brain. And I was looked at like, you ain't complying. You ain't supporting your community. What? Because I don't want to destroy my kidney and liver? Baby, no. I'm just, my brain works. If I don't trust, baby, let's go to Planned Parenthood, baby.
Well, what do I think about it? I think that it's really sad of a situation I think it's kind of pitiful that people have to be so mad in public. Like it's kind of unfortunate. I think both people did something wrong. So it's kind of like they got you, you got them, but where do we stand with it kind of situation? And it's kind of like a situation where we're supposed to be all of a community because we're so called the same things, but there's such differences amongst us that it makes us hard to get along. A lot of us, you know what I mean?
No, I
Some of
don't
us have
because
tried.
I got along
Some
with
of us have
everyone.
tried.
I don't know what you mean because I go in with like a kind, like if you operate with kindness and love, you can get along with anyone. And that's how I operate. So I kind of don't get it because like, and I remember the same person that I'm in discussion. Um, they were like when I first met them, like, oh, I want to be your sister, and I was like, girl, I don't want to do that. Let's just be like homegirl. Let's just be friends. And they took it like a rejection because that person kind of like looked up to me, which I'm thankful for that, and I secretly looked up to them. I learned a lot of my makeup secrets from that person, but I was like, no, I don't. Let's just be homegirls. And I wish I would have explained myself a little bit more. But the reason why I just was like, let's just be friends. I don't want to do the sister thing is because I had attempted that. Like I have a story before that person got here. Like before that person got here, I had already transitioned. They met me at the drop-in center. I was working as a nurse with a nursing scrub on. So it's like I had a life and events that happened why my mind was on like, no, I don't do the ballroom thing. I don't do the sister thing. Like, you're just my friend, And today I learned to appreciate calling people my sister as I've matured and grown. But in that earlier stage of my life, I felt like it came with like a responsibility. Like, you're my sister, you're my house, you're my friend. You're responsible and with me, and that's it. And you're not allowed to be other friends with other people. And that used to be so like you were friends with a particular person in the community member, and I never said, "Oh, Miss Thing, you can't be her friend." Like one day you called me, you're like, "Oh, so and so's here." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, call me back." I wasn't like, "Oh, Miss Thing, you should hang with her." You learned on your own how you would interact with them, but what did you ever hear me once say you shouldn't be friends with that person?
No.
And you even had them call me on New Year's, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Right. And I never once was like, "Oh girl, why are you friends with that person? Don't be friends." I don't have relationships like that. First of all, my friendships can never and will never be that close because I have to have my own life. You know what I mean? So like you're allowed to do what you want to do. You're allowed to have whoever friends you want. When we're hanging out, we could be cool. And even if it's somebody that I don't like, if they happen to show up or they come around, which kind of secretly low key happened at an event that we had not too long ago. People showed up. And I just kind of feel like I could still rock and vibe, but we don't gotta be, it's not always shade. Community straight dropped the ball. Because if we didn't show up and put our name on them papers every motherfucking Tuesday, wouldn't be no situation. Okay. And what used to blow my mind is I remember asking for grooming and wanting to be a part of and have a bigger place. And I was just kind of like pushed to the side because I think I was too intimidating. We're all had learning. A college degree. And there would not have been that establishment if it wasn't for the three pioneer girls. And I remember when I used to try to recruit and I called girls, and girls used to be like, "I'm white woman. I will never be around. I don't see it for those girls. I'm white woman. I'm under the radar. I don't show up." And then like, I did my part. I did my part for the community. I showed up. I gave my credentials for them to gain financials, which I didn't benefit from. I never got rent paid or stipends or anything. I remember I think I got like a $5 Price Chopper card one time. Um, Yeah, and I believe I had to like mix it with other money to really use it because it was $5 that I got from there. And so I got like a couple of $5 gift cards here and there. So I didn't really benefit as much as they with the demographics. So I feel like these not-for-profits have to do better because I feel like if you're only for your cliques and your friends, is that community?
Hmm. It's more like self-interest, self-preservation of a few people. Like they want to just like worry about their immediate selves first, and then everyone else can bite it. They'll just give them a little couple pennies, but
Well, you know what really hurt me one
things aren't
time?
always fair. In other words, things aren't always very fair.
You know what really hurt me one time is when you said you got a phone call to go to a restaurant, Rain, and your colleagues invited you to go there, and you saw champagne bottles and plates and forks and spoons and leftovers, and you were invited to go there to meet with them. And they had a conversation with you there with, already eaten dinner. Did you get any food? Did you get
No,
anything to go?
not gonna say no, just a bunch of empty dishes.
So they invited you to have a conversation with them at a dinner, but they had already eaten.
Oh yeah, they wanted to have a word with me, and I stopped by, and it was just like, all right,
And this is like a not for profit place. And, you had exchanged with me how you felt like you couldn't hold certain things that were going on there. And we just have to come and do better because my story that I can share that I experienced, I did not feel the sisterhood. And one of the things that I learned over time is, and I will say this again, once I apologize or attempt to apologize, and if you tell me to F off or you don't want to deal with me, then like God, I turn a blind eye and I move on to the people who do want to deal with me. Like that's just it. And I'm sorry if I don't show up, I don't come around, I don't hit the like button, I don't hit the share button, but you made it very clear to me that you were all set with anything to do with my energy. So that would include hitting the like button, showing up, or just being a part of. If you made it clear to me that you don't want my energy, that it would include in all areas. So in order for us to have community, we first have to have healing. And one of the things that I want to do, and you're going to hear it first, is I would like to maybe have something fun for all the girls to do where we can express energy and enjoy. Like, I would love to find a spot where we can do like a volleyball event. Like, who doesn't love volleyball? It's active, it's fun, you're out of your element, you're doing something energetic, you're doing something to move, you're exchanging energy, you're working as a team. You could wear your logo shirts or whatever it is that you want to do and just network and enjoy. There's so much money on the table, millions of dollars are on the table. But if girls can't get along because they want this ego, how do you have community? First of all, if you cannot call the person in your community that you don't like, you don't have a community, you have like a gang. Like you should be able to interact with the people that you know don't like you because they're still a part of the community. You still have a duty to share your resources, share your information, and be in contact with those people, even if you think you don't like them. Hire someone outsource. You hire someone, I can't possibly potentially deal with this person, but I'm going to hire you to reach out because we have this event and we have this information and we need this person to be a part of it. If you're not doing that, then you're not real. You're fake and you're just for your pocket. Because for me, I could reach out to people who I know don't like me. I, right now, feel like doing that will disrupt what I have going on sometimes because I think some people that don't like me have like a vengeance, like they have to prove something or just I am serving. And that makes me intimidated. I'm not
scared of you, but I don't want to deal with that. I want to have a genuine conversation and have mutual understanding. You may have said something hurtful and I may have said something hurtful. That let's start there and then we'll figure out what we need to talk about. And if we can just keep it even and cool like that, I'm open for anyone because we have to prevent things like Cookie Tookie and her having a VH1 contract and being offered double digit six-figure salary to be on a network. And then for people to be like, have a drink and get her started and then kiki about it later. It's so disgusting to me. And that's why sometimes I struggle with coming around the community because people will hear something about someone instead of reaching out and being like, girl, so and so was doing what? Oh no, Miss Thing. I know, mother. Mother, what's the tea? Like, you want to go get your nails done? Like, I've always been that girl. You know, girl, I was always come on, Miss Thing, let's go out to eat, Miss Thing. Come on. Like, I used to get on your nerves, girl, because I was like, Miss Thing, let's go out to eat, Miss Thing, let's go here, Miss Thing, let's go there. Like, I've always just been that girl. And what do you think we can do to try to heal our community so we don't have situations like Cookie Tookie?
I wish I knew the answer because everyone as a collective would have to change and be nicer. And I don't know how possible that is realistically in this world that we live, in this environment, in this city, with these people. Can we get along? I don't know. Some of them I don't want to fool with, but some of them I could get along, but it's just difficult when it's a lot of clashes. It's like a lot of cliques. And if you don't serve a purpose, they don't want you.